I had a quote by
4 hours.
By someone of you who said, "I don't want to be the band, to be my life."
That could have been any of us.
Well, it's just trying to say we don't want to end up being Rolling Stones whose life is being backstage, getting a cock sucked by.
We don't.
You don't? I don't think so, Andy. We're taking care of it. I mean, there's just a lot of bullshit around rock and roll and its lifestyle, and I think being a human being and having a normal life is really important, and that's what the basis of making music that you can communicate with normal people who have normal lives comes from. And as soon as you leave that normal life and become this sort of show business world, you get out of touch with people, and you also get out of touch with who you are yourself, I think. So we prefer to remain three small town boys from Victoria, Canada.
And besides that, what does making music mean for you at all? I mean, you're all having jobs at home, regular jobs.
Yeah, as often as we can get them. We making music is just our way of doing what we want, totally, without having to serve anyone else. I mean, I think that's the main problem in the world today is most people are servants. They work for someone. You don't have to be a servant. You can work for yourself. And if you have something to offer people, you can give it to them direct. We go and play directly. People give us money directly. They're happy. We're happy. We go off to the next town. That's better than
we're very lucky in that sense.
Yeah, very lucky. And most people have to sit in an office and serve some anonymous company or government or whatever kind of bullshit they have to be the servant of.
Let go.
Yeah, I think it's if people want to make a political move in their lives, instead of joining a party or finding an ideology, I think the first thing they should do is quit their job. And that means not working for someone else. Work for yourself. Do what you do well, and try to use that to make your way. It's harder. It's much harder. But I mean, it's so easy to do it the other way because that's the way people who have all these resources, they want to make it easy for you to serve them. But you shouldn't do that. In the long run, you waste your life, I think.
Punk rock came along. It wasn't so much that, they couldn't play, because most of the early punk rock bands were pretty good bands, I think. But was the fact that it was the feeling behind that music that attracted me to it, and whether they could play or not was sort of number 8 or 9 on the list. It was the fact that this guy had died here, and they were singing about these ugly, grim things and playing the loudest, most fast music I'd ever heard in my entire life, and that's what attracted me to that music. And we try now to keep that part of what we do alive. I mean, we could just say, okay, well, let's run off another album, let's run off another bunch of songs that are just, here's a good riff, do you want to chuck some words on top of that? Okay. But then you become, like Robbie said, the Rolling Stones or somebody where you just begin to just parody yourself. And I think it's important to keep some emotion, a lot of emotion in what you do.
We just mean to cause people to understand that what they think they know, they don't know. And the less that they are certain of, probably the more tolerant, the more careful they will be in making decisions about themselves and about other people. And if you're more careful and more tolerant in these decisions, you will be more respectful and have a better and more realistic view of the world. I think the worst things that happen in the world come from people who are sure. They are sure that their God is the one God. They are sure that their ideology is the true ideology. They are sure that their company is the best company in the world and should have all the money. These people are dangerous people because their certainty is built on an illusion. Their certainty is built on a set of values which you can very easily turn around and negate. And I think that's what we do in our band. We try to...
we try to say not so much... I mean, it's extremely easy to describe something and say what it is. What we try to do is say what things aren't.
Yeah.
And eventually, when you pull something apart and you say, well, it's not this, and it's not this, and it's not this, and this, and this, and this, what do you end up with? Nothing. No. And so any label of anything that any label you want to put on anything in your whole life, be it a feeling or be it a person or a thing, eventually, if you scrape away the surface, you don't even need to scrape away that much. But you'll notice that it's just this big gray sort of blob underneath, and everything sort of comes together.
And by that, we don't also mean to say, okay, that nothing has any meaning, it's all absurd, do what you want. It's just that you realize that the structures you make in your life and the beliefs that you have are just yours, and they're just conditional on your ability to see and the situation around you, and keep it on that level. Don't make it universal and absolute, because as soon as you do that, you're lying, and it leads to very horrible conclusions, and it always has in the world. It's not to say everything is absurd, don't do anything. It's to say everything is absurd, so choose carefully, and never say yes, this is it. Always say, okay, for now I'll go this way. I know an hour later you may have to change, and you may have to, and it may be a good thing to change. Always be ready to do that, right? Which is why in about an hour I'm going to turn into a rock star and try to make a lot of money. Punk rock is through, man. It's finished.